Good evening, YouTube world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. So, welcome everybody. We got a great interview lined up for you guys tonight. But before we get into that, I want to just go over a couple things we got coming up on the channel. So, Thursday, everybody, make sure to tune in 6 p.m. West Coast time. We got the man of SEO, William Jones, coming on. We're going to be talking all SEO, and he's got a bunch of things coming up. And he's got a big class coming up on Friday, which is going to be free for the community. And it's all about giving up his SEO tactics and telling all. So I encourage everybody, get over there, make sure to register. This is an amazing, amazing opportunity. It's free. You can't beat that. So make sure to tune in on Thursday on my channel. And then he'll be going over all the details for Friday's big class that I highly, highly suggest everybody take full advantage of. So I want to just say what's up to everybody in the chat. Drew, what's up, my man? We got Andrew from Patriot Junk Removal. How you doing, brother? Thank you for tuning in. And guys in the chat, if you guys have any questions for Kristi, definitely throw them in the chat, and I'll make sure to get around to that. With that being said, I want to introduce tonight's guest. Her name is Kristi McDonald. She owns Santa Rosa Dumpster Rentals, and she also has a junk removal business. So, welcome to the stage, Kristi. How are you tonight?
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you so much for having me on. How are you?
Doing great, doing great. So, I wanted to first start off from the top. I wanted to just find out, how did you get into junk removal? And is it true that you own both? You got a junk removal business and a dumpster rental business?
It is. So I actually, 5 years ago, I was managing a life transformation program. So I've been in recovery for 12 years. And it was a really great program here in Sonoma County. And I was going to school full time and I was pregnant. And so I had so much going on. And then the pandemic hit, the school shut down as soon as I graduated, and the program I was managing shut down as well. And so I really didn't know what I was going to do. I was just at home, and my ex husband, he wanted to start a junk removal company. And it was really neat because I could manage everything behind the scenes at home and do like all the finances, all the scheduling, estimates, and then he could actually go out and do all the work. And then we were doing a lot of fire rebuilds because Sonoma County had gotten hit with so many fires, and there was really very few people that had dumpster rentals. Mostly it was just like the waste management and Pacific Sanitation. And so we started that branch of the company too, and it really took off. We started to do homeless encampments, and then my ex-husband and I, we divorced and he moved out of the area, and so I had all this equipment and a 2-year-old, and I thought, well, my friend's like, maybe God wants you to have this business, and I just started laughing. I'm like, God does not want me to have the business. I'm going back to law school. I'm going to be a lawyer. But here we are. So it's pretty cool. I really like it. I actually got my commercial license and my hazmat endorsement. And so I do a lot of hazmat cleanups as well. And I mostly do dumpster rentals. Honestly, junk removals are pretty challenging right now because it's so saturated in Sonoma County, and a lot of people aren't properly licensed or insured, or they dump illegally. And so I get underbid constantly, and it's hard to compete with that. So with the dumpster rentals, it's great because I don't have to sub out any labor. I can own and operate it. If I need to take my baby with me, I can do that. And so I do own both companies, but I prefer to really push the dumpster rental side.
Okay. Wow, there's a lot to digest there. We're
I
going to
know.
have to break
I,
this all down right now.
I was laughing because you asked me one question and I just kind of gave you a novel.
No, that's really good, but I want to break into it. So you first started obviously with the junk removal business. How
Mhm.
long were you up and running with junk removal before you got into dumpster rentals?
Probably a year. I would say.
Okay, and how was that first year, as far as getting business and, what kind of marketing campaign
Uh,
were you guys on that first year?
uh Honestly, because I was my baby had to have surgery when he was born, so I was kind of like taking care of the kids, doing that, and my ex-husband was working full-time somewhere else, so we kind of just were pushing it on the weekends a little bit here and there. A lot of it was word of mouth, and we advertised through Nextdoor, and then some social media marketing. But then once we decided to really go full on, we literally, I want to say, every single marketing aspect. I mean, we were doing Nextdoor, we were doing Angie's List, we were doing Facebook, we were doing Instagram, Yelp, Google Ads. I mean, everything. And so it was good because Sonoma County had a pretty big homeless problem. And so we actually were getting contracted through the county to do all the homeless encampment cleanups. And so we had gotten hired to do the biggest homeless encampment in Sonoma County history. It was a massive job. It was, oh gosh, it probably lasted 6 weeks. And that's right when we had started the dumpster rental company, which was great because we were able to utilize both companies. And I'm so sorry, my husky is going crazy. But we were able to utilize both companies. And from that is where we really saw the benefit of the dumpster rental company. And that's when we started pushing that a little bit more. Um,
When you first started with the junk removal, what kind of truck were you using? Since you kind of sound like you were doing it part time at first. So
yeah, I
did you?
think we had a Dodge Ram 1500. Yeah,
Okay.
just a basic pickup truck. And I bought a trailer. It was like a 14-yard little CB trailer, which was great. And honestly, there was not really a lot of junk removal companies, so it was cool. We had started the company. We named it after our baby, and we were kind of just pushing it to see where it would go. Kind of no plans for anything. And honestly, it really grew very fast. It became pretty successful. And then, like I said, with all the fire rebuilds, with the dumpster rentals, it really blew up. And then that homeless encampment job, I think we took 130 30-yard dumpster fulls of debris out of there. I mean, it was massive. It was probably a $700,000 job. It was
Wow.
crazy. Yeah, it was crazy. And just seeing like the need, like, and like I said, my ex-husband and I, we went our separate ways, and I started my own company because I stayed in the area. But just watching every year the market shift, like the first year, like I said, it was fire rebuilds. There was a lot of commercial jobs. The pandemic hit. Then everyone was stuck in their house. So the next year, it was more like a lot of renovations. People were bored looking at what they had to stare at all day when they were stuck inside. So they were demoing and remodeling. They were doing landscaping projects. Then that lifted, and then everyone kind of was hoarding everything when they were stuck inside. So now I do a ton of residential cleanouts, and it's mostly property owners that are just trying to get rid of stuff because it's so easy to just collect junk and hold on to it. And yeah,
What are the biggest differences that you've noticed between removal business and dumpster rentals?
honestly, I can operate the dumpster rentals 100% by myself. That company, I can own and operate. I don't have to worry about anyone, and like I said, I don't have to sub out labor. So for me, I prefer it just because I'm a single mom. I have stuff going on in my life that I can manage that schedule around, and I don't have to worry about if someone's going to show up to work, if I have enough people on my crew that day, if I have a huge job, am I going to be able to take care of everything by myself, if it's junk removals. So I definitely think there's that. And then also, I notice, like, with the economy, it's hard. labor's expensive, and so a lot of people, that's the biggest difference is labor. I can drop off a dumpster, people load it themselves, so it cuts down costs for the consumer, and I don't have to pay out labor. So,
Okay. And we got Matt Fitch in the house. He says, cool story. And we got our man from Sonoma over here, Mike LeCompte in the house. He says, hey, girl. What's up,
oh.
Mike? How you doing, brother? So, what do you, if you were running both of them, and I know in your particular scenario and all, it makes more sense with the dumpster rentals and all. But let's say that you didn't have the crazy schedule and running a full-time family and all. And what do you think would be more profitable? Would it be the junk removal business or the dumpster rental?
So, well, that's like it's kind of crazy. So, junk removals are definitely more profitable because, like, if I rent a dumpster, I rent it for a set price. If I rent the dumpster and I fill it, I can charge 3 to 4 times as much. But on the same time, the amount of calls I get for dumpster rentals are 10 times what I get for junk removals. So right now, for me, it's more profitable doing dumpster rentals because that's where the market is for me.
And where do you advertise for the dumpster rentals? Is it the same as junk removal, or is there different platforms that you could use?
I do the same, but honestly, I really don't advertise. That was like the good thing was like trial and error when we had our other companies. We literally used every single platform imaginable and I saw what worked and what didn't. And now I don't really advertise at all. I just do Google ads and a very small amount of them, and that's about it. It's mostly word of mouth. I have a ton of repeat customers, which is really nice. And because I'm the only woman-owned dumpster rental company around, it's kind of put my name out there, which is good. So,
Oh, I gotta say this. So, when I go to the dump, it seems like I'm coming Mr. Popular. Everybody's, coming up and like, oh, I've been watching your channel. And I don't know a lot of these guys, but the other day I'm over at the dump and three people. I was there two different times. Three different people that day said, "Oh, you got Kristi coming on your channel." And I would turn around and I'm looking at them. And I'm like, I'm in amazement first that they knew who I was. Then that they knew that you were like the day that you would be on here and all. I was like, so she's got a fan club already out here,
yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing. It's so cool because I notice like people just by nature are competitive, and I think you and I had talked about this separately. I think it's so important to network with people and to build strong relationships with people no matter where you're at, but especially in the market that we're at, because at the end of the day, we're all trying to feed our families. Like we all got a goal and we all got bills to pay. And I think it's really great to connect with other people because if I get somebody calling me and I can't do the job or I mean, I have a 25-foot trailer. So with my truck, it's 40 feet. There's a lot of places I can't get into. But if I know someone that can, I can help that customer and I can help somebody else land a job. I think that's really important. So I think it's really,
I don't
you
mean to cut
know,
you off, but it just hit me because I tried tagging you in one of the Facebook groups. They were looking for somebody in Petaluma. They needed a dumpster rental. So I tagged you in it, but for whatever reason, they have like a block that you can't tag or something.
oh,
So
yeah,
I took a picture of your profile and I sent it a person. So if you do get somebody, they're gonna tell you forget about sent it over there.
nice,
That was a couple hours ago, and they were in Petaluma
nice.
and they needed a dumpster rental. So I just wanted to
Oh,
tell
that's
you that.
awesome. Thank you. Yeah, and I think that's so important, and to build those relationships, like at the dumps and at the transfer station and at the I go constantly. I'm at the rock quarry recycling concrete and doing stuff. So it's really important to build those solid relationships wherever you're at. And, I mean, anywhere I'm going with my truck and trailer, it's branded. So setting that example, you know what I mean? I don't want to be driving down the freeway, cussing somebody out, acting like an idiot because that's you, that's your company.
Exactly. And next thing you'll be getting some Google reviews talking about that. So
Yes.
we'll need that.
Watch out for that psycho.
So I want to ask you this because I always was wondering this. Do you see a difference in the type of client from, that call you for junk removal from the client that calls you for a dumpster rental?
Definitely. So generally, a junk removal client, they're ready to go. They've done a project, they have all their stuff, they just want to get rid of it. A lot of times with a dumpster rental client, they are currently working on a project. They want to space their project out. They want to take their time. So I think that's the biggest difference is junk removal ready to go, take it off my property. Dumpster rental is leave it here. I want to take my time and do whatever I'm doing.
Okay, and if someone's just starting out, what would you recommend them begin with? Would it be junk removal or dumpsters, and why?
Well, dumpsters is a pretty big investment. So, honestly, I would say probably junk removal because you can literally start with just a truck. You could fill up your pickup truck, start making little loads. You can go. I've had times where I haven't been able to fit my trailer in places. So, I've rented a U-Haul truck for 20 bucks, And so I think financially, junk removal is definitely the way to at least get your foot in the door before you do a huge investment. Because you get a roll off trailer and a couple bins and a truck, and you're looking at $120,000.
I mean, I kind of did that with the junk removal though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm like, yeah, I think
Well,
I could have went either one with that
yeah,
one.
yeah, and you could have, and honestly, and that's the thing, and with and depending on, because like I said, the licensing, they've really changed the requirements. In order to operate my company and my equipment, I have to have my class A, I have to have my commercial license, my motor carrier permit, I have my hazmat endorsement. I have a lot of things.
So that's we got to make note of that right now because I didn't know that, and I don't think a lot of people do realize that. So we need a different driver's license. So what does it entail to get that licensing?
So before you could just go to the DMV and study and get it. Now you actually have to do like behind the wheel training and meet with an instructor and get signed off on it.
Okay, and,
Yeah.
and then as far as like does it cost more? And then the other thing is, obviously, if they need a special license, now if you had to go and hire a driver, is that mean their salary is going to be a lot higher that they're expecting?
Yeah, so I mean, I've been looking. It's so hard because I've been looking for a driver, and it's like, yeah, I could hire someone that has a commercial license, but do they know how to operate my equipment? Like, I can look at a dumpster, I can eyeball what's in it. I know if my equipment's going to be able to pick it up, if it's going to damage it, if it's going to be too heavy. Generally, what it's going to cost when I get to the dump. It's hard to find someone that is licensed and then can effectively operate my equipment at the same time. But definitely, like I'm starting to hire drivers, and if I do, it'd be 40 bucks an hour because they have their commercial license. If they're just being a regular driver with the truck with just a class C, then it'd be like 25 bucks an hour.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
not that. Yeah, that's not that bad of a
yeah.
difference. We got the Yee Yee in the house. Junk removal home service is killing the game. That's my man. I call him AKA DJ Khaled, man. Sounds just like him. I love that man. Hell yeah, bro. And then oh man, you got a new first Mike says, how can I get a sweater? And then I think you got a driver here. He goes, once I get my class A, I got you, girl. So
Yes.
there you go. There you go.
Well, it's
Uh
nice because honestly, I like to travel a lot, and it's hard because when I go on vacation, I just have to shut down. And so I really, I've been pushing Mike to get his class A.
there you go, Mike. There you go. Christy wants to travel, so here you go.
Yeah.
So all right, so let me ask you this. So you've built a strong online presence. What is like your SEO strategy? Do you do your own, as far as online presence, or do you have somebody that you work with?
Yeah, I have somebody that I work with, and honestly, like I said, I really don't. I my life is so crazy. So I was diagnosed with breast cancer a couple years ago. And like I said, I'm a single mom. So in between just dealing with my health, raising my family, taking care of my son, he has he has a busier life than me, and I don't really put a lot of effort into all that other stuff. It kind of just takes care of itself. So I do work with a company that takes care of all that, but honestly it's just real minimal. When I started my company, I wasn't even sure what to name it, and I talked to my friend who's he he was instrumental in helping us get our other business like off the ground and running, and I was talking to him about names, and he said, "Dude, just name it after the city you're in, because when people google it, that's what's going to come up first when they google dumpster rentals near me, because you're Santa Rosa." And so doing that was probably the best bit of advice I've had, because it is, when people look it up, it's one of the first ones that pop up without me having to do much.
Yeah, I'm surprised you were able to get that. That's crazy keywords right there. That is, right there with
Yeah.
it. When you first started and everything, how long was it until you got your own website up and running?
So honestly, I got all my equipment back in May of 2023, filed for the LLC in June of 2023 in the business license, and I set up my website before I even pushed my first job. So
Okay.
I kind of did everything all in a week's time span. And then once I was approved with the state and the city, I was already up and running with my website. I probably didn't do any kind of Google ads for a couple months though. But the website was within like the first week or two.
Give me an idea. What is your budget for Google Ads?
People think I'm crazy because I know people that spend like $5,000 a month. I literally don't spend more than $500 a month on all my advertising.
And do you track it? Do you know exactly where everything's coming in with your marketing and all?
I only use Google Ads. So yeah.
And every time it's a Google call, like, does it say that it's from Google? Is that how that works with the
Yeah, it'll
ads?
come up on my lead. So I have a company that manages my Google ads. And
Ah,
so, yeah. But honestly, like I said, I get good leads that come in, but a lot of it is my biggest, like what's so important to me is customer service and providing a great experience for every single person I come across, even if I don't land a job with them, or I can't work with them or whatever comes up. I still like them to have a great experience of me and my company. And so because of that, I've been able to get a ton of referrals and repeat customers. And so that's probably where most of my jobs come from.
and would you say it's more of a challenge being a woman in this industry, or is it more to your benefit?
Uh so probably the first 18 months it was more of a challenge for sure. Now it's to my benefit. I would get a lot of smart ass remarks when I would go to the dump, people wanting to back my trailer in for me, or, just doing stupid shit. But now it's really, and I think I see a lot of people come and go. They are all in at first in this industry and then they fade out. So I think maybe, people wanted to see that I was serious and committed to what I was doing. And now I've had definitely a lot of support for sure moving forward. But the first, yeah, 18 months, it was definitely, it's very, very male dominated.
You know
And
what I've been seeing though, I don't know if it's just because of recently, but a lot of couples, and I think it's a lot to do with Matt and JoJo and all, and it's kind of showing people that's like kind of how we got in, and
yeah,
me and my girls seeing it, and we were like, oh wow, that's something, this could be something to try out, throw in, get a new business going and all that, and yeah, it's been working out great for us. But I have to say, I can't believe even at the last expo they had last year, I couldn't get over how many couples were in it, and even like women that were just running their own businesses, and
yeah.
all. So that's definitely growing as well. And are you going to be at the Junk Expo in October?
Honestly, I don't know because one, a whole weekend. I get pretty busy on the weekends, but two, I try to really commit that time. Like I go to church on Sundays. My son does a lot of stuff on Saturdays. So I don't know. I know it's a 2 day thing. I'm wondering if like I could just pop in for one day. But I don't know if I'll be at the expo or not. It's funny because Matt and JoJo actually were my neighbors. Um, God, I think it was 5 years ago, right when they were starting their company. We all lived in the same apartment
Over
complex.
at that complex. I know
Yeah,
exactly where it is. Yeah, that's
yeah,
cool. Hell yeah.
yeah.
But Christy, I gotta say this. You gotta go. It's mandatory. You live in the area over there. I mean, you could put 1 weekend aside. You could hire Mike. Let Mike drive you for that weekend. He'll take care of all the truck routes. You come over to Expo because I know he's not going to the Expo. And
Yeah.
come take advantage. I mean, it's a great place to network. And I mean, there's just so much info being given. And you know, it shows there's so many different ways to find success in this business. Like everybody I bring on here, they each have a different superpower, what I call them, and that's what led them to the success that they've experienced. And no two are really alike, you know. So you might have a certain way where you found success, but you're going to see like 10 other ways that you could be like, oh, I could take this from there and I could take this. And I mean, it all equals money, you know. It pays for itself just being there. So you know, I highly suggest it. I wouldn't miss it. You know, I'm one of the sponsors. You know, not only do I go, I sponsor because I
Oh,
believe in it so
nice.
much. And
Yeah.
you know, you always should keep learning, man. It's the smartest thing you could do. And there's always, even if you just took one or two things from it, it would be worth it. So I hope I could change your mind and convince you before then to get you to go.
Yeah. Well, if I'm not at Disneyland or traveling, I'll consider it for sure.
Mike wants to know. He goes, "How much do you pay your lady, or are you partners in the profit pool?" Yeah, my lady's living a amazing life, brother. If you've seen how we live and all that, she's enjoying it. She's part of the team. We're building an empire together. We got 4 businesses, and so we're definitely about it. All right, so I wanted to move now on to this is just some like more personal kind of things, and just wanted to get to know you a little better. What is some like hobbies or something that people in the industry might not know about you?
Huh. Well, I don't know. I mean, like I said, I love to cook. Cooking is my favorite. I love to eat. So if you like to eat as much as I do, you better learn how to cook. So cooking and trying new foods. I love to travel. And being a mom, like honestly, that's my main focus in life is my son. The company I actually have created, I'm building for him to take over. And I'm actually going back to school to finish getting my paralegal so I can start freelancing paralegal. And then eventually this company will be his. And so everything I do is revolved around my son. So, but I feel like everybody kind of knows that about me. So I don't know.
And what about like your free time? Like, what's something that if you just you had somebody babysitting for the night or whatever? What's something that you would like to do on your free time?
Probably go out and eat.
Going out. Gotcha,
Yeah.
gotcha.
And honestly, he's like my partner in crime. He'll be 5 in June. But this kid, like, he eats ceviche, he eats octopus, he'll have sushi. Like he has a very sophisticated palate for a little kid. So yeah.
All right. And what is some advice that you have for someone in junk removal who's thinking about adding dumpsters to their business?
Well, in honestly, I would say I think a lot of people look at any business, but especially this, it's like a get rich quick scheme. And I literally, the first 18 months, worked every single day with my baby. Like, no joke. We were doing 8 to 10 hours a day every single day, busting my ass. And you have to be committed. Like you have got to be committed and disciplined. And really, it's so important, like to be willing to take a loss because, and when I say that, like with a customer. Like, you have to be willing to be wrong. You have to be humble. You have to be, like you said, teachable. And in that, like, that's going to help you to win, being in that frame of mind and in that humble position.
Yeah, I like the whole thing that you said earlier, how when people call you, even if they don't hire you, you're gonna deliver above and beyond. It's because it's your brand name and that's what you want to deliver. And that's something that I really incorporate in my business. And I really respect when you said that for sure.
Totally.
What's the craziest thing you've ever hauled or found in a dumpster? And don't tell me a sex doll. I think everybody I brought on here has told me they found a sex doll. I'm like, damn, I hope I don't find no sex dolls anytime soon.
I mean, that's pretty common these days. God, I won't tell you about the body I found then.
Oh my God. Forget about it.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's just crazy. I mean, so much. But honestly, I would say when we did that encampment cleanup, I mean, there were some pretty crazy setups over there. And so, and just doing hazardous waste removal. I mean, you find some pretty crazy stuff, but I found like a clock I removed, and I kept it just because my son likes clocks. We looked it up. It was $12,000. Like, and somebody was just throwing it away
Wait,
because they didn't.
what was it?
It was a clock. It was worth $12,000, and I
Oh,
kept it just because my son likes clocks. Like, I didn't even
oh.
think anything of it.
I thought you were saying croc at first. I thought you felt like a crocodile at first. I'm like, wait, what? You gotta remember my other place is in Florida, so I had to remember. I'm like, wait, where am I right now? Am I in
Yeah,
California or in Florida? Because in
yeah,
Florida, that would be normal to find a
yeah. It'd
croc
be
over
no big
there.
deal. Yeah.
All right, and what's your go-to song or podcast while you're out on a job?
I listen to a ton of different music. It's very, very eclectic. I could do gangster rap and then worship and then country. So there's not really anything like set in stone. I heard of a new podcast, and it's called Girls Gone Bible. So I heard it's pretty cool, and so I might start listening to that. But honestly, I got my phone going. Like, people are calling. I'm networking and talking to customers, so I don't really listen to a lot when I'm driving. But yeah.
You failed. I was hoping you were going to say the Forget About It podcast.
I'm never coming back on the show again.
Yep, you kicked off. That's it.
Yeah,
You messed up
never
on
get
that one.
invited.
No Limit Holland says, question, how many trailers do you operate and how do you store them?
So I have 2 trailers, 10 dumpsters, and I have an industrial yard in Santa Rosa.
I'm glad that you said that because that was one of the questions that I forgot to ask. So, how is that up in Santa Rosa? Are they reasonably priced over there? Because I've looked around like anywhere around like Petaluma and it is just insane the prices that they're asking for yards.
Yeah, and it is pretty insane. And but I got a killer deal, and I have 24-hour access, and they have cameras, they monitor it. So honestly, I feel really blessed at the opportunity I landed. And the more I grow, because when I started, I only had 1 trailer and 3 dumpsters and one little truck, and now I've tripled everything, so to speak. And so as I've grown, they've grown with me, and they're really accommodating. Cause yeah, I was looking at yards, and it was like 2 grand, 2,500, 3,000. It's like, I'm not spending that, you know?
Have you ever thought of trying to find one where you could rent it and then pay it off over time and actually purchase in a yard?
I have. I actually had a customer that called me last month to clean up their yard that they're getting ready to sell. So we're kind of in the talks, seeing what that looks like. And they're in Santa Rosa, which is nice. So
Yeah, that's the way that I would go. I would go for that rent to own. And after getting into the junk removal, I'm always looking to expand and figure out what the next move is. And that was what I thought, that shot into my head was, let's go look to buy a yard, and that's a great investment because now I could sell that with the business. And
Yeah,
now by doing that, because I don't see it making sense if I just had the junk removal business, but then that's when I expand and bring out the dumpster rentals as well. So not only do you have two separate businesses that you could break up and sell them as individual, but now you actually have the property that you own that you could be sold with it, which I think that is, that's the way to go. And then eventually down the line, if you want to go sell those businesses, you could sell the businesses and then you could rent them, the spot, and still be making money off of the real estate then. So that
totally.
might be, yeah, that might be something to think about. But that definitely is
Yeah,
something in my mind for sure, 100%. Because for to pay that much a month, just to rent a yard, that would drive me crazy.
oh
You
yeah.
just,
Well,
yeah.
I was blessed, so I probably pay, I definitely play under $1,000. So
Oh my God, Maron. I think that's
probably.
one of the benefits of being a lady in this, because I don't think I might have to go put a wig on and go out there trying to find a yard. That's not fair. That same yard would cost me probably like $4,000 or $5,000. Wow, that's pretty cool.
But and then again, it's really great because I've really like built good connections even at the yard, like with people that are there. There's master mechanic there. They have a body shop. So it's like, and I kind of like, that's another great thing about being in this industry is bartering services. So
Facts.
I get rid of their stuff for them. Then I get free mechanic work done. I get free body work done. My son takes these survival swim lessons. They're I'm talking thousands of dollars I've invested, but I was able to do a huge job for his swim coach. So he gets lessons now for the rest of the year comped. So it's that's a big plus about being in this industry is being able to trade like services.
That's 100%. And today I actually put that into play. And it just like where I'm renting my yard is it's a mechanic place. And I went up to the guy because I remember when I first got it, he had a washer and dryer he had to get rid of. So I went up to him today and I was like, I'll get rid of the washer and dryer for you. Would you mind just doing my services, like changing the oil, getting all the fluids on my truck and everything? He's like, oh, 100%. We could do that all the time. So
Totally.
definitely, yeah, definitely people should take advantage of that. If you guys aren't already, definitely start finding other people to barter with.
Yeah.
No Limit Holland says, can you let the people who are thinking about starting this business, or if you could start over, what kind of truck or trailer or hook lift would you use?
So honestly, I like so I kind of just I don't want to say inherited the equipment, but when my ex-husband and I divorced, I got half the equipment. And so it was pretty challenging because it's such a big trailer. I was pretty intimidated by it and being able to like get it in, like I said, a lot of jobs are residential now. So being able to get a trailer that size into neighborhoods. Um, so I probably would start off with something a little bit smaller. The new trailer I just got is only 16 feet, and it's cool because I get all my equipment from Texas Pride. I love their customer service is superb, like to any other company I've ever dealt with. Their products are great. I've never had an issue with any of the equipment. They have a great warranty. Like I love their roll off systems, so that's all I'll buy now. But I would suggest probably getting you can get like a 14 or 16-foot roll off trailer. I have never used a hook lift, so I don't know. And then I just got a brand new truck. It's a Dodge Ram 3500. It's a dually, and I could haul my house with it. So, and I like that too because like if something goes down with my truck, my company's not out of business. I use my other truck. If something goes down with one of my trailers, I have a backup trailer. So if you have one unit, your transmission blows or something breaks down, you're excuse my language, you're effed. You know what I mean? There's nothing you're going to be able to do because it's just one unit. So for me, I like the truck and the trailer so I can switch.
I like that. And got a shout out Beans in the House for America Junk Boy. She says, supporting Paul's podcast was my mission before going to bed today. Sorry about it being so late, Bean. We're just over here on the West Coast. I know you're on the East Coast, so I'll try keeping it a little earlier for you next time. But I really, really appreciate you tuning in. And Paul, your LED sign is amazing. Yeah, thank you, Bean. Remember that day when you just got yours in? I ordered mine, like, I think it was like a week before, and I've been waiting so patiently. I was like, damn, I want to show mine off too. But yeah, guys, check it out. It's on this side. That's my new sign. I finally got rid of the Arm Wrestling Buzz one, and I got my official logo up there. So I'm really happy about that. I actually just came in this morning, so I just got it hooked up. So one last question before we call it a night. And if you weren't doing junk removal, what would you be doing instead? Now, I know you did say earlier that you were thinking about getting back into paralegal and all. Is that still on the plate, or?
Yeah, and honestly, like I said, I've been in recovery for 12 years. My favorite thing in the world is being of service. So, had that had the program I was managing not closed, I would definitely probably still be doing that. It was an amazing program. It was for men, women, and children coming out of prison, coming off the streets, getting their kids back from social services. And it really was so near and dear to my heart just because of my past and everything I had been through. So, that's definitely what I would still be doing. But definitely as well, the legal. I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I've always wanted to be in the law field. And so I am starting school this summer to get my degree and to do the paralegal. So I'm gonna do both. But
Have
yeah.
have you did have you started the courses before with the paralegal and the
I
lawyer?
did. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I was in school and I was doing the paralegal program. And then I found out I was pregnant and the pandemic hit. So I decided to change my course of study to executive legal assistant. And so I got certified in that. And then now I'm going to go back and finish up. I'm going to get my associate's degree in business, but with a major in paralegal. And then I'm going to transfer and get my bachelor's in business management.
Oh, that's what I did was the business management. But why I was asking you that is when I first went in college that first year, that's what I was going was to become a lawyer. And I started taking all those classes and I'm like, whoa, I am
Yeah,
no way going to put my life just in front of a book. I cannot, I will go out of my friggin' mind. So I
totally.
changed
Well,
that real
yeah.
quick and I went
And
right into business. And I'm so glad I went that route for sure.
totally. And I think with the paralegal, that's where I'm going to go because then I can freelance paralegal work. You know, you can do it
Yeah.
remotely, you can do it independently, and in the off season, because we definitely have an off season with this crazy ass weather we got here in Sonoma County. You know what I mean? Then I can do that sub in, and then, like I said, eventually I want my son to take over everything. So
Yeah, well, I got to say this though, you're spoiled out here with Sonoma County weather. This is not crazy. I'm from New York and the East Coast. You want to talk about crazy weather? 20 degrees, blizzards, and all that. That's a slow
yeah,
season.
yeah,
We
yeah.
could
Well,
deal
my
with
son.
70s and rain out
Yeah.
here.
My oldest son lived in Montana for a couple years, and I was like, I'll visit you in the spring and the summer, but I'm not coming out in the fall and the winter. Hell no, it's negative 40 degrees.
Oh
Like,
my God.
I'm not coming.
Oh my God. And Mr. Yee supports the ladies getting that money and being independent. You go, girl. Hell yeah.
Nice.
And you
Nice.
got to say that in DJ Khaled's voice because he is the twin of DJ Khaled and he sounds just like him. So just say it in that voice. And USA Junk says, question, have you had any issue or hurdles with waste management? In my area, Grass Valley, California, for example, Waste Management has a contract with the county. No other business can rent dumpsters out. So, have you came across that? Because I've heard this quite a bit with a couple
Yeah,
people. I
I've
know.
heard it too. My friend actually went over to, I think it was Chico, and tried to do operate, and same thing. It was like they weren't having it, and but no, not in Sonoma County at all. It's actually been pretty cool to see how welcoming everybody is because I thought for sure there was going to be some resistance, but I'm only pushing 10 dumpsters. They're pushing hundreds. So until I get on their level.
But there is certain areas that they do try intimidating and all that. I know Denise Sparks was going through it. We had somebody else the other day, but USA Junk, what I do have to say is my man Cisco, he's been working with waste management 29 years. He's out in California, right by Sacramento and all that. And he knows the ins and outs. You know, he also has a junk removal side business. So he knows what they're allowed to, you know, come after you on and what not. So he told us the right way to do it is to go to your town or county and get the contract with the waste management company, what they have with the town. Do not ask anybody or anything. You get it physically in your possession and then you go through it, because you're going to see on a lot of times there's this loophole. Once those dumpsters have wheels on them, they cannot stop you. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to make it like that you're dropping your own dumpster with no wheels and messing with their business. But the little loophole in most places is if you have wheels on it, you are allowed to operate. So I strongly urge you to go into your town or county, get the actual contract that waste management has with you in the area. That will tell you everything. If you don't understand that, hit up a lawyer or something, or you could just hit up my man Cisco, and I think he's right in your area, and I'm sure he could direct you in the right way as well. I hope that helps you out, USA Junk. Kristi, so I just want to thank you. This was a great interview. You enlightened me a lot on the whole dumpster rentals and, you know, the difference between junk removal. And I kind of been asking this question a lot in the community. I haven't really been getting too many straight answers, you know, because usually they're pick one or the other, not both.
Yeah.
So definitely learned a lot. Thank you for that. And is there any other social platforms, social media platforms that you want to shout out for people to contact you at?
So I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram. Pretty
Okay.
much, yeah. I mean, like I said, I kind of just everything just rolls in and manages itself. But yeah, for the most part, honestly, it's just Google. That's like the biggest thing is just Google. But yeah.
Bro, I'm sorry to Chris Gambino's in there. Is this Chris Gambino, my man from New York? I haven't talked to you in like 20 years, if this is you, bro. Paul, where do you see yourself in 5 years with the business and your other endeavors? 5 years from now. That's crazy, bro. You know how much stuff I get in there and I'm always on the move. I'm not really sure, brother. Why I went into junk removal is this was going to be a new challenge for me. I wanted to see if I could grow a business into a franchise, not a
Mm.
nationwide franchise, but I wanted to have it in all the places I live. You know, I live in New York, I live in Florida, and I live in California. So I wanted to get them up and running there. I'm also in the middle of buying up some laundry mats in Florida. That's another move. You guys know I'm all in the marijuana business as well in California. I got an antique and collectible business in New York. So I'm always moving and grooving, trying to get into new things. I love all kinds of business. Green is my favorite color, that being marijuana and money. So, you know, it's hard to say. I don't know where it's going to go with this. You know, might build this up, buy a property, and might sell it in a couple of years. You know, if it's worth it, or you know, might expand. We'll know in the next like year where I'm going with junk removal and all. But I could guarantee you this: I'm always going to be hustling and getting into new things. I'm a true entrepreneur. I don't sleep much and I love just being active out there. So, but Chris, if that's you, brother, hit me up on Facebook, man. I haven't seen you in years, brother. So I hope that's Chris from New York, my man. Hit me up on Facebook for sure. And Mike says, good night. Talk to you guys later. Call me, Paul. Thank you for your time, Kristi. Hell yeah, Mike. I'll definitely hit you up. And thank you, Mr. Yee, for all the questions and all. Appreciate the support, brother. And Mr. Yee, hit me up, man. We got to get you on, bro. We were talking about getting an interview. I definitely want to get that interview with you real soon, my man. And Kristi, thank you again for coming on tonight. It was a real pleasure. Is there anything else that you would like to say out there to get out in the universe?
I really appreciate you having me on. Like I was a little nervous at first because I usually don't, you know, do anything like this, but it was really cool to connect with you. And I think it's really great to see so many small businesses popping up where we live and people just supporting each other. So I'm all for that. I think that's amazing. And I, again, networking is so important and just all of us supporting each other. So I think that's cool that we can all come alongside. My biggest thing would be just to support someone. And when you see someone struggling, reach out and help them. You know what I mean? In that. And that's the thing, like you're saying at the Junk Expo, if you can go and just find one thing, learn one new thing, you know, and that's what we can do as people. in today's times, it's so crazy. Everyone's against each other, and it's like, hey, let's just support each other. You know what I mean? And help each other out. We're all struggling. So,
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I love about this community, because I'd say like 90 to 95% of people are very supportive. It's kind of like a kind of like a family, you know, and I do love that. Of course, you got your couple of haters on there and a couple of lone wolves that don't like to play
yeah.
nice. They didn't play too well with in the sandbox growing up and all. They didn't like to share their toys and their shovels.
Yeah.
But we'll get through it. And thank you for being such a great person. And you were always welcoming since I got into the business, and continue to help each other out, and let's just grow as a team. And thank you for
Awesome.
coming on again. And anytime you want to come on, we have the Junk Family every other Tuesday. You're always welcome to join in that.
All right, for sure. Thank you so much. I hope you have a great night.
All right, guys, everybody in the chat, if you guys haven't already, please smash that thumbs up button. I really appreciate that. And I will see everybody on Thursday, 6 p.m. West Coast time. Don't forget, we got William Jones coming on. He is the SEO guru. He's going to be all telling about his new big class. It's going to be going on once a week. It's on Fridays. He'll give all the details. So tune in this Thursday, guys. It's going to be a good one. Have a great night, everybody. Thank you for tuning in. I will see you guys all on Thursday.
All right. Bye.